as we go. But my name is Eric Vitardi. As I mentioned, I am excited to show you some more about SafetyHQ and how we can improve your job site safety practices today. So again, thank you very much for joining. For those of you that it's your lunch hour, appreciate you, carving out some time in the middle of the day. For those of you on the West Coast, if it's a little bit earlier, appreciate you taking some time out of your morning. I know it's a busy week for a lot of folks. So without further ado, we'll get going. I will say, here's my contact information. You guys might want to jot this down. We'll also send up a follow-up email if you have any follow-up questions. This is how you can connect with me or the team so we can get you the information you need. Because today we're not going to be able to get into as much depth as we typically would. Happy to schedule a custom or personalized one-on-one demo with anybody out there that has some more questions. But for today, we're going to be doing a little bit more of a brief overview and kind of talk a little bit more procedurally and how we can kind of use some of these as a best practice. But without further ado, let's take a look and see what we can do about getting us into SafetyHQ. So SafetyHQ is a progressive web app. It is owned and operated by Foundation Software. For those of you that are familiar, it is a leader in construction software in the industry since 1985. So wholly owned and operated here in the United States. You're getting support and service from our employees in the United States, mostly based out of Cleveland, but we do have some representatives around the US. We also do serve some other areas, especially with SafetyHQ in Canada and Mexico. But at the end of the day, you have a construction-specific solution. We're focused on driving the best results for you, and you're working with a team that's only working in construction, not supporting multiple software packages or what have you. But without further ado, this is SafetyHQ. Excited to show you guys a little bit more about what it can do for you guys and how it can improve your job site safety processes. I guess a few things before we start getting into features. SafetyHQ is what we call a progressive web app. So we can download and install this on any kind of phone or tablet that we're using out in the field. Everything that we'll be seeing today is going to be based off of the laptop or tablet view. So this will be a little bit different than what you're used to seeing on a day-to-day basis, but not too different. I'll go ahead and kind of condense it down so you can see what this might look like. This is what a phone view would look like versus a tablet view. Pretty much the same experience, just kind of shrinking some items down as a whole. Now, SafetyHQ can be used, if you download and install it, can be used in offline mode. That will automatically sync with you when you get back into Wi-Fi, or if you get into cell service on the highway or something like that. It's automatically going to sync with your team if you need to. So here's the offline mode settings. There's really no reason for you to be in here on a daily basis, but just showing you that it's a feature that we have here. But I like to start things off with toolbox talks. Toolbox talks are probably one of, if not the most universally practiced safety procedures on any job site or with any business. Although you may not do, say a JHA or a site audit or regular equipment inspections, most folks are doing something in the way of toolbox talks. Now, you may call them tailgate talks, you may call them whatever. This is a good opportunity, typically on a weekly basis, to get your team together and review a particular safety topic, to keep their skills fresh, to keep it top of mind and make sure that that team is there every day, is safe, and is working to the best of their abilities and doing so safely. Now, with our Toolbox Talk feature, we realize a lot of people, if you're a safety manager out there, you have a lot of things to do. If you are maybe doing HR and 4 or 5 other things, and safety is just one of the hats you wear, even more so, we need to simplify this process to make it simple for you and for your team to get these completed. So what would otherwise be kind of a painful paper process and getting them back into the headquarters from the field or what have you, in SafetyHQ, we can simply select a toolbox topic. We have over 200, all available in English and Spanish. You can add your own toolbox talks if you have some really good content, maybe from yourself, from insurance, from wherever you might be getting your topics. But all I do is simply select the topic. We can allow the team to complete those toolbox talks themselves. We can also, most importantly, assign these out to folks that need them. As I mentioned, these are available in English and Spanish. we can go ahead and use this translate icon in multiple areas of the software. So you'll see that when we get over to forms and things like that as well. But in this case, I've decided I want my team to review safe setup of heavy equipment. I can begin the talk right away, or I can share this out. So again, to simplify that process, I'm going to go ahead and pick my foreman, my crew leaders, and maybe some admin. In this case, maybe just foreman and crew leaders. I can send this talk out right away, or I can schedule this toolbox talk for a later date. So I'll go ahead and say, I don't know, I want everyone to be discussing this on Monday at 7 o'clock. Great. They will get an email notification as well as a notification within the app letting them know that they've been assigned a new toolbox talk. It's as simple as that. I hit submit. I don't have to worry about it. You can schedule out as many in advance as you'd like. You can go ahead and review those toolbox talks that you have coming up. You'll see I got a couple scheduled to be going off in the near future. Can review those if I need. But if I'm a foreman or crew leader or whoever might be assigned that toolbox talk, again, I can select it from my email, or I can select it from right here. In this case, I'll go ahead and say I've selected safe setup of heavy equipment. I hit the big yellow can't miss it button. And you'll notice this is going to be the action item for most of what we do in SafetyHQ. The focus really is on ease of use. If this is not the easiest to use product for your team out in the field, they're not going to do it, just simply because of the fact that safety, for most of our clients at least, safety doesn't seem to be the top priority for all of your employees. They want to get to their production tasks. They want to get moving. So we got to make this simple and easy so that they get these completed. My big yellow button. I select my project that I'm working on. Review the toolbox talk with the team, obviously, discuss those dangers and identify the controls. And from right here, I can go ahead, sign off that I've completed that. And I can go ahead and select all of my attendees here as well too. So no matter how many employees you got, whether it's 5 employees, 500 employees, 1,000 employees, this smart search will help you find whoever you're looking for, collect their signatures, and you have a nice record going forward to share with whoever might be interested in seeing these toolbox talks. You can also take a photo of the group if you like. We got a couple options there. But toolbox talks complete, perfect. You can see I do a lot of the same ones in here, but we mix it up from time to time. All of those toolbox talks are then saved in the cloud automatically, available for review. So if somebody asks you, maybe it's a customer, maybe it's an owner, maybe it's a general contractor that you're working for, you can review those at any time. So if I say, hey, I want to grab all of the, Western Dental Lab projects toolbox talks for the month of August, I can do so simply and easily right here within SafetyHQ. So again, simplifying the process. If somebody comes on site or if there's an incident, you need to provide some items, you certainly can. You can also do this by topic, by company, division, the foreman or crew leader that submitted it, what have you. And from there, I can grab, I don't have anything that meets that criteria, of course, but you can go ahead and grab whatever you might need. You can select an individual toolbox talk, review the topic, and you also have a nice PDF copy that we provide as well too. So this is kind of a short version, but with your custom logo and company colors, things like that, we can have a nice organized PDF for you to share with whoever might want to review your completed toolbox talks. And just like that, you're done. You can review those as needed, don't have to worry about them, but maybe you want to check and see if the team's actually getting these completed out in the field. And that's a great opportunity to use our reporting section here. So it's one thing to say, hey, I want everyone completing these toolbox talks. It's another thing to actually make sure that they get done. And that's a big thing too, right? If you're not following up, if you're not ensuring that people get these completed, they don't feel that it's important, they're not going to do them. So we put a pretty strong emphasis on making sure you have the tools to review the team's performance wherever they may be. I'll go ahead and select, simply from this entry screen, I can review it. I go into reports. I can set up a rule, say, hey, once per week, I want our administrators completing this, or once a month, I want foreman complete. Whatever the rule is, you can set it up right in here. Sort and filter this criteria again by whatever you'd like. And I can see, my team is not doing very good, but Where am I at over here? I've done 4 this week. Great. I got what I needed. I got what I needed to do. I'm completed. I've met the requirement. You can select some individuals that you might want to give a reminder to by giving them a notification in here. Or you can notify the whole team at once. So anyone who hasn't completed their requirement can be notified. You can notify their manager and route that to them as well if they need a, maybe an extra kick in the rear, if you will. And then you also have some submission graphs to show how people have been doing over long term. And then we have graphs on the employee record. I'll jump over to myself here as well to show the attendance of every single individual on those toolbox talks as well too. So you can see which toolbox talks they've attended when and produce a copy of those if you need also. So really simplifying the process for you, bringing it all into one place, making it simple and easy to use and manage all these tasks with a few clicks or with a few touches if you're on your phone. Now, I said ease of use is really important to us over here at SafetyHQ. You'll see as we move on to forms or other related items, the actions are the same, right? So if I want to go ahead and review a JHA, I can do so by job, by project, by date range. If I want to report on that, set up a separate rule. You'll see here now it's gone from once per week to once per weekday. Can check and review how the team's doing. I can pull up any of these items, review how it is. This is a JHA I previously completed. And here's a copy of that it's going to look very similar to what we just reviewed previously. So photos, signatures, whatever you might need here, down to your custom logos and whatever you might need. So as I mentioned, easy to use. Once you learn it one way, you pretty much know how to navigate throughout the rest of the system. But what's going to continue to make this process easy for you is the customization of forms. We realize everyone might have a particular JHA. You might have different needs for any of these forms as you go. What's great about SafetyHQ is that these are fully customizable. So at any point, if you need to change your forms, we will help you do that. We'll do that for you free of charge. That's included in your subscription. During the implementation process, just send us some of the forms you're looking for. We'll get them custom built to what you need. And at the same time, we have some really strong templates for you to work off of as well. So if you say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to start doing JHAs, we have some OSHA reviewed templates that you can access as well. As a couple of examples, I like to show maybe 3 quick ones just to give you guys a feel for forms here. So I'll pick JHAs as an example. I'm going to hit the big yellow button again, a lot of the same actions. It's going to custom fill in some of the items for me as I go. And then you'll see what we have as the task selection. Again, don't get worried about what's actually in the text here. We can customize this to what you need. But what's really nice about all of our forms within SafetyHQ is the fact that they use logic and conditional logic and smart features. So in this case, I'll say we're going to do setup and load for today's tasks. And based on the selections that I've made, it's only going to show me related hazard types. So based on what I've selected, it'll just show me a handful of hazards that we might be working with today. Going to give me more specific hazards that I might be dealing with. And based on my selection, it's only showing me the related controls and mitigations. So saving your team quite a bit of time and effort out in the field, and more importantly, keeping them focused and safe because they're really just focusing on what they need to do rather than, a lot of painful, pencil whipping or just running through the forms quickly. So they got nice smart forms as they continue. If I'm on my phone, we can snap a quick photo here. I'll just grab one off of these stock images, but from your phone, you can snap a photo, take something from the camera roll. We can mark these photos up as we go. So I'm going to go ahead, just kind of scribble in here to show you what we can do. And again, you have some similar signature features just as we had before. You hit submit, you can access those just as needed. Everything we just showed from the Toolbox Talk side is going to work the same here as well. Now, where this really shines and where this gets really unique as far as saving you time and effort is any of our inspections, audits, things along those lines. So I'll pick a job site safety evaluation or a site audit. pick a project that I'm working on. And I can review, I can break this into different sections. Maybe I'm walking across and I see a fall protection risk. I go to fall protection, I answer some questions. You'll see here I have 4 questions. If I answer yes, now I got 6. We want to ask some more questions related to these safety harnesses. If I say that's not relevant, we're not bothering them with questions that aren't important. So that's really key as far as getting good information back and getting good forms filled out and keeping the team safe. We don't want to bother them with any questions that aren't important. But let's say we run into a situation or a question and we say, hey, you know what, maybe there's no first aid kit on the site. We hit no. We can easily add a corrective action. So if I hit add new right here, I can select a pre-populated deficiency. You can also use voice to text or text over this or type in here if you'd like. We can tag this for our record keeping, which we'll take a look in a minute. So we'll go ahead and add this to housekeeping. Maybe I want Dylan, who's the project manager, to go get that first aid kit from the head office. And I want to make Daryl, the superintendent, aware of what's going on. You can use this however you need, but this will automatically send a notification to both Dylan and Daryl, letting them know that, they need to make sure that this first aid kit gets resolved. Again, we can add photos. I'll go ahead and assign this a due date of today. That seems pretty important. Let's go ahead and get that today. I hit back to my site evaluation and I can continue right on with whatever form I was doing. In the meantime, my team is going to get a notification letting them know that they got to get that corrective action done. So let's go take a look at what happens with those corrective actions and how we can use those going forward. And keep in mind, we also have that translation throughout the forms as we go. So corrective actions are funneled right into this section. Again, you'll get a notification within your inbox as well as your email letting you know you've been assigned something. But within here, we can take a look at everything in SafetyHQ. So we can see, what's assigned out. Maybe we want to see our high priority items. Maybe we want to see, maybe Daryl's going on vacation, so we want to see anything assigned to him. You have all of these options over here. I also see this used pretty often for folks that manage equipment regularly. So I'll go ahead and select maybe an equipment inspection. This will only show me corrective actions that came from an equipment inspection. So if I'm a mechanic, maybe I'm a garage manager, I can review just items that are related to equipment if I'd like. And again, we could do it through a couple of different ways, through tags or maybe just picking them from the assigned employee. But you can see an easy way to manage a punch list of items that we need to address. We can manage, who can edit and who can't edit these as we go. In this reporting section, and your data will be better than mine. I got some goofy data here as we go, but you can see some leading indicators, issues that you've been running into, gives you a chance to be proactive in your safety program as a whole. And you can manage and sort this by any of these items on the right-hand side as well. So again, not just helping you, address current safety issues, but helping you be proactive so we can jump on top of those before they become something more serious. Now that's a quick example of like a site inspection in JHA. And again, all of these forms, I don't know, I'll pick like an accident report as an example, are going to use that conditional logic to keep you focused. Again, a couple of questions here. Maybe it's vehicle related on this accident. Okay, now we want some vehicle questions. Maybe, 3 vehicles were involved in this accident. Okay, well, give me some information on those vehicles. So you'll see these forms are going to expand as you need. But especially if for those of you that are dealing with equipment on a regular basis, what's especially neat is, again, we can still use that corrective action item, but we can tie these inspections directly to a piece of equipment and review what's going to be overdue on inspections and what needs to be updated whenever. So I'll go ahead and say, hey, I'm completing this inspection on this Ram truck. Again, we could add a corrective action here if we'd like. Maybe we just want an automatic notification to the garage. We can do an email from there as well. But I do an equipment inspection on this Ram 3500. Great. As soon as I do so, that is going to be updated in my equipment area as well here too. So I can manage what's overdue as far as equipment. I can go ahead and review, based on make. Maybe I want to see what project this piece of equipment's assigned to. All of these items you can review. But every time I complete it, as I said, every time I complete an equipment inspection, the system is automatically going to set a next inspection date. So you can set your interval, say monthly, whatever. It's going to automatically keep this updated so that you can make sure you're staying on top of pieces of equipment and inspection from that part. And we can even tie that equipment to, I don't know, a project, an employee, maybe another piece of equipment. So if you want to manage sign in, sign out, if you want to see how a project is doing as far as equipment inspections, or maybe an individual that's taking a truck for service calls, you have all of those options here as well. So again, really briefly, and I know this might not apply to everybody, so I'm just going to touch on this briefly, the equipment section, but a whole bunch we can do as far as tracking maintenance records, inspection records, who's got what, what's signed out, where it needs to be, a lot of options here as well. But that kind of puts a bow on forms. Again, if you don't see something here, maybe it's a daily report that you need, maybe it's a couple other items, no worries, we can certainly put it in for you. You know, those customizations are included throughout the life of your subscription. So moving on, I know we're kind of on a short time frame here. We have a full SDS library of almost 2 million records. It's a smart search, so as I'm putting in information, I can pull up what I need, pull up my SDS right on the spot. Maybe, you know, you add a new chemical or product that you're going to work with, simply to request it here. We will reach out to the manufacturer and make sure it's included in our library for you also. So pretty straightforward there as we go. Moving on again, we have our lessons and certifications module. So this is one of the biggest features for a lot of our clients that are managing certifications through a spreadsheet. Maybe they're having an issue with folks not staying up to date on the certifications, what have you. These two work together to really provide you a full certification overview and make sure it's simple and easy to manage your team's certification needs. So you can do so on the first end by creating, this is an LMS really here, learning management system in this lessons area. You can create lessons, maybe they're safety lessons, maybe it's onboarding, what have you, complete with videos, links to maybe documents or forms that they might need to review, what have you. You can assign this to individuals. You can require them to take a quiz. In this case, we'll say, hey, maybe this is the SafetyHQ new hire training. Assign this out to somebody, you know, they can complete that quiz. And once they pass that quiz and have reviewed this lesson, automatically going to be tracked here within SafetyHQ certification section. So that's automatically completed. We can then review, you know, who's expiring in the near future. Maybe we got somebody coming on site to do first aid training. Perfect. Show me anyone, you know, who's going to expire from first aid in the next 90 days. Maybe I want to grab a whole crew and see what their certifications look like. I can do that, you know, this way as well. Maybe I want to go ahead and keep a photo of their card on record because, you know, OSHA comes on site. Well, and my card's in my wallet and it's in my brother's truck and he's taking it, you know, fishing today, whatever. No more excuses. We got it right here. It's tied right on the record if we need. We can see individuals' safety and training records. I can do so, you know, the same way I showed you with the crew. But right here with Bill, I can see all of his certifications. I can collect them, share them with a QR code, email them off, or produce a certificate. You can also produce a certificate across multiple employees with multiple trainings as well. So if you need to share that information. But you might be asking, well, yeah, that's great, but you know, we don't do a lot of training in-house, or maybe we don't do all of our training in-house, and you know, a lot of folks do something through a third party or what have you. No worries, we can bulk upload those to make sure that your team is organized and up to date on their certifications. We can add those as a one-off. So I see this a lot for, you know, maybe drug screens or things like that. Somebody comes onto the site and says, hey, here's my certificate, what can you do about it? Either allow them to do it or the foreman can go ahead, snap a photo of that certificate, put in some basic information, and we can track that without them having to go back to the headquarters. One last feature, this was recently added, and I think that's worth pointing out because we're continually adding new features and improving the software as we go, is the certification expiration warnings. So you can go ahead, you can organize this by division, by company, but in this case, I'll say all these divisions, I would like Josh to be notified once a month of anyone who is going to expire within the next 100 days. So every month, Josh is going to get an email letting him know everyone that's going to expire. It gives me a nice list of what they're going to expire in, and maybe who I need to get on to make sure that they get those certifications completed and they're staying up to date. So again, everything we can do here within the software, but this is just another simple automation to make the process easy. Moving on here, you'll see, I'm using a lot of the same photos, what have you. But this is a good place to check all of the photos related to a project if you want. Maybe you're at the ownership or executive level and you don't want to get into every individual form, but you want to see, hey, this looks a little goofy. What's going on with the caps on the rebar or something like that? I don't know. I can see that form. I can see all the audit information tied directly to that as well. Projects will work in a similar capacity. So if I pick a project here, this is going to kind of roll up everything as we go. So this is showing me all my equipment on the project. I can click into that. This one hasn't been inspected in a little bit longer than we probably should have let it go. We can see all of the corrective actions and issues related to that project from a safety perspective. We also can see key personnel and include, key documents that we want the team to access on the project also. Kind of gave you a quick peek at what we can do here at the employee level, but emergency contact info, submission of certain forms or graphs, all those items, equipment overview, toolbox talk attendance, certifications. Again, we touched on equipment. Might as well touch on documents while we're here as well. A full document storage library for whatever you might need. Maybe it's your safety manual, maybe it's some other practices, whatever. Simply put them in this section. We'll organize them and manage it for you as we go. No data storage limits there as well, so it's a really nice place for you to store documents that the team might need to collaboratively access. And finally, just a quick preview on incident reports. We can customize these if you need through our forms module, but we have a really nice template here that simplifies the process as we go. So you can see here some basic details for an incident report. Not enough for a full incident report, obviously, but take some photos, put some details, give us some basics. As soon as that form gets submitted, we have automatic routing and notifications to let the team know, an incident has occurred. It will then suggest for that team, to fill out additional information. So this is days away from work, treatment information, all of that stuff, witness statements, root cause analysis, all of those items. It's taking the information that they started with and pre-populating the form so you don't have to do a lot of that going backwards. You can PDF this as you go. So if you need to share that with workers' comp or OSHA or whoever might need it, you got it. You can review all of these incidents by all of the categories on the right-hand side to help you stay organized and monitor those items as we go. And then you have some automated reporting in here as well. This can be managed visually by any of these characteristics on the right-hand side. You can see different metrics letting you know injuries, root cause by different divisions and companies. You have all of this data to help you get better as a whole. And then finally, this will actually even create your OSHA 300A for you directly out of the system. So it's not sending it to OSHA, it's not managing all that, but especially with some guideline changes that we're seeing coming into 2024, definitely helpful to get those moving sooner rather than later in most circumstances. But again, we can't really touch on everything within SafetyHQ today in this short time period. This is just giving you an idea on how we can simplify your job site safety practices right out there through a solution like SafetyHQ. But if you'd like more information, we can certainly detail those out with you as we go. But this is a good time on the right-hand side. If you have some questions, simply drop them in the chat box. I'll take a look, see what we can do as far as answering some of those for you as we go too. And the first question, this is from a Foundation software user. Are workers automatically synced from Foundation software? That's asked by Stephanie. Yes, they are. So they are coming directly from Foundation Software, as well as your projects and in the short term, your equipment as well too. So Stephanie, absolutely, they do sync. But if you're using another accounting software such as QuickBooks, Sage, whatever it might be, we can put those users in, those projects in through CSV. We got a lot of options to get that data in the system for you automatically. Let's see here. I am having a hard time pulling these questions up. I apologize, folks. So cost, that'll be a tough question to ask for a little bit about everybody because we have a couple of different folks in here. But the cost is going to be structured for your company as a whole. And this is really unique, right? We're not charging you per user. You get a company license. You can have as many users as you want under that license. We can break this down by particular features. Like if you don't do equipment inspections, we can kind of do this a little bit a la carte. Be happy to get you a customized quote based on some of your details shortly after this. Happy to share that info. And actually, maybe at this time, I will pull this up for you here too. Here's my contact information. Let's go to the view mode, make it look nice for y'all. I don't know, F5 probably. There you go. So if you're looking for, I also see some other questions. How do I schedule an in-depth demo? I'd like a customized pricing. Shoot me an email right here at edv@foundationsoft.com. Give me a phone call at 800-246-088 or 0800. You'll also get a follow-up email after this letting you know how you can get a hold of us, more details, all those items. A couple more questions here. I know we're kind of a little bit over that half-hour mark. And again, guys, I've been going so quick today. I appreciate your patience trying to jam this in over the lunch hour. I certainly appreciate it. Can you filter what workers in the field can see versus the office? That is a great question. In SafetyHQ, we can fully customize your access permissions, right? So if you only want foremen to see the projects they're working on, you can customize it so they can only see their own projects. If you want Joe Schmo or Jane Schmo out in the field who you just hired to only see maybe like SDSs and their certifications, you can do that. They won't even see other items. They won't see incident reports. They won't see any of those other items. So really customizable. We can even get down to who can and cannot edit forms after they've been submitted as well too. So really good question. And I probably got time for one more here. I apologize. There's 4 or 5 that I can't get to, but I'd be happy to, speak in further detail after the call if anyone has any further questions. But does SafetyHQ allow us to manage our safety manual and detail and other documents that we might need to share with a general contractor, owner, or customer? Yep. That's a great place to manage it in the documents section. We can also manage that in our project hub there as well too. So a lot of ways we can organize that information so we can get those documents in an easy to email and organized place for owners, general contractors, customers, any of those types of things. I see a couple more questions coming in from McCormick users, from Edge users, things like that. We do have some discount considerations for current users. But again, we'll probably talk a little bit further in depth on pricing as we go. But thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate your time. I'm sorry that we had to kind of go quickly, but I'd love to talk in more detail. Shoot me an email right here below. Here's my contact info that I just skipped off of to make it difficult for you. Go back. Or give us a call, and also keep an eye out for an email coming here shortly. So thank you guys again for your time. I apologize I couldn't get to all the questions, and hopefully look forward to talking to you soon about SafetyHQ. Thanks all. Have a great day.